Hi, friends, and welcome to Be Mindful. So, Be Mindful is a selection of mindfulness and meditation offerings, helping you to perhaps cultivate a regular practice and a more mindful way of being. And this is part of Slowdown September. All of our practices are free on Yoga Borne YouTube. So, our practice today is similar to a style of meditation called Samatha, which is a Buddhist meditation of focus or tranquility. And we're going to focus on our breath for this and then move into a slightly different direction. But I don't want to give too much away. Let's journey together and see how this unfolds. So I would suggest that you take a comfortable seated position, whether that be on a chair, whether that be on sofa, bed, yoga mat, and of course use any props that you need. Grab a blanket or a jumper if you feel that you might become a little bit cooler. So I'll be here for at least around 15 minutes. If you need to get anything now or go and prepare your little nest for this practice, then maybe just hit pause and then press play when you're ready. So we're sitting in a position where the spine is long, and this helps the free flow of energy, what you might know as prana or chi, as is referred to in yin yoga and traditional Chinese medicine. And perhaps just check in that you are in a comfortable position. Sitting on the ground in Sukhasana, if you're there, it might not feel comfortable, as in, oh, this is the best position I've ever sat in, but making sure that it feels sustainable, should we say, for 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So check the position of the body, maybe the clothes, the hair. So we're trying to find as much comfort and sustainability as we can without disturbance. And I invite you to limit that kind of visual disturbance by closing the eyes or having a sleepy, soft gaze, or perhaps even gazing down towards the tip of the nose or to the earth. Relaxing the shoulders, the jaw, the forehead, the fingertips and toes. And this practice is going to help us with concentration and mindfulness. So you might liken it to a practice we call dharana, which is one of our limbs of yoga, the practice before we enter full meditation. And in this case, the focus will be the breath, which can help to calm the fluctuations of the mind, encourage you to be present, and learn that we can always come back to a place of presence and calm by having a gentle focus point. Again, in this case, it's going to be the breath. And a reminder at this point that breathing practices work for some people on some days and not for some people on some days. So if you start to feel uncomfortable with this, you can always adapt it to a place of comfort for you that feels right for you, or you may whiz it on till after the breathing practice, or you may decide to just leave it today, come back to it another day. So whatever you feel is best for you. And it's completely natural that the mind wanders, maybe for some of us more than others. We're not trying to control this. Think of it more as kind of gently dissolving the thoughts of the mind, just to stop ourselves from getting too drawn into these mental conversations. Perhaps anxieties might be future tripping or going back into the past. And if we lose focus, which we may well, the mind wanders, which is likely to happen, perhaps we can just observe and acknowledge it, and then draw ourselves back to our place of focus, nice and calmly. And a really important part to remember in all of our practices is that nothing is right or wrong. This is your own personal experience. So we're going to begin with a couple of deeper breaths, so more controlled conscious breaths, and then let that dissolve into just our natural flow of breath. So let's take a breath in through the nose. Nice deep breath out of the mouth with a sigh. 2 more like that, just in your own time. And then it just dissolves into you being the observer of the breath and this being natural breath. And can you take your awareness and your focus to the belly as you breathe? Perhaps the sensations here. Is the movement soft? Does it feel forced? Or does the belly feel relaxed and spacious? Nothing is right or wrong. We don't need to change. Perhaps we just observe. And then if we feel that perhaps we could add a little bit more softness, that might just come naturally. If the mind wanders, remind yourself of the breath. Remind yourself of that focus point of the belly and gently draw awareness back to it. Gently start to move the awareness to the nostrils. The sensation of the air moving in and out through the nostrils. If it's more comfortable, breathe in through the nose and just gently out through the lips. Just keeping that focus on the nostrils, the air in the nostrils. Is it warm, cold air? Do the breaths feel equal? Nothing is right or wrong. If the mind wanders, just remind yourself of the breath. Draw it back to that focus point of the nostrils. And now bring in awareness to the sound of the breath. Let that be your focus. Is it a soft sound or a slightly louder sound? Does the inhale sound the same as the exhale? Nothing is right or wrong, just observing. And if the mind wanders, remind yourself of the breath. Remind yourself of that focus, which is the sound of the breath, and draw your mind back into that. Now, can you allow yourself to just focus on the inhale breath? So the exhale is happening naturally, but we're not putting our focus there. If it helps to maintain the focus just on the inhale, maybe as you breathe in through the nose, you're just silently in the mind thinking in or inhale. And if the mind wanders, just draw it back to that focus of inhale. to the exhale. So similarly with the inhale, that will happen. We're focusing on the exhale if we can. If it helps, we silently say in our minds, out or exhale or X, whatever works for you. And if and when the mind wanders, we come back to that focus on the exhale. The inhale happens naturally. Exhale out of nose or mouth with the focus there. Now the complete breath, the whole breath. So noticing the breath in, and you could still continue to say in or inhale. Notice the breath out, so you could continue to say out or exhale. That complete cycle of breath. Are the breaths equal? Does one feel deeper? So let it be natural as best you can. Do you feel like there's a pause between the inhale and exhale, or they just flow seamlessly? Nothing is right or wrong, so we're not looking to judge. We're not holding or forcing the breath. If the mind wanders, then we draw it back to this complete cycle of breath. Inhale and exhale. I'm moving to something just slightly different now, so we can let go of those previous focus points. And dependent on where you're at in the day when you're listening to this, it may be completely different. So you may want to listen to this a couple of times at different points in your day. We're going to think back to the moment that you woke up. Any journey that you had, whether that was out of bed to the bathroom, downstairs to your kitchen, your journey to work, anything and everything that the mind can retrieve up until you sitting here in this practice. What comes to mind as you trace that journey? So don't judge, don't force, don't be angry at yourself if you think, oh, I can't remember that part of it. Just allow what comes to mind to come to mind. Sights, sounds, smells, feelings, perhaps. Nothing is right or wrong. If the mind wanders, draw it back to the breath and perhaps start that journey again, or start it from the clearest place or space you remember. And you may have completed that journey in your mind, you may not have. You could always pause and take a little bit longer for that practice. But for now, just allow that to dissolve. And we're going to take 3 deeper conscious breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more in your own time. Start to then bring a little bit of movement to your body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes. Just gently start to blink the eyes open, maybe turning the gaze from side to side. Perhaps you have a stretch, whatever works for you. And then just take a moment to come back to center. Feel the earth beneath you. Recognize the sky above. And if you feel drawn to, you may write some notes about the practice or about your day, but no pressure. Always what feels best for you. And just take your time to move away from this seated position when it feels best. You might have a little sip of water or herbal tea, maybe a little bite of chocolate or some sweet fruit to eat. So these can just be things that can help us reground after we've sat in more of a meditative space. And then going on with your day or your evening, just noting if you feel that little sense of calm. And there's kind of two practices within that. So one could be the breathing practice. The second could be that kind of journeying through the day practice. They can be done absolutely separately on their own. It's nice before we go into the journey of our day to find a sense of stillness and calm, especially if we've had a couple of challenges in the day, because we could go into the day journey in our mind just thinking, this went wrong and then that, and we're not going to come out of this practice feeling overly, calm and mindful. But it can be a good practice just to go back through from the moment I woke, I rose, to the moment I am at now. We're not criticizing ourselves. There can be observations, there can be learning points, there can be likes and dislikes and things that are neutral. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. I hope you found some part of it useful. Don't forget to check out all the other wonderful practices, all free on Yoga Borne YouTube. Take good care of yourself. Thank you for being here. And until next time, bye for now.